It's not just unpalatable views. These are views, these are people who would be inciting hatred, who would be inciting the overthrow of democracy, who would be preaching the sort of extremist views that we believe can create the environment in which violence becomes something that others wish to do.
Is there an important distinction here? We're talking about people who've not actually done anything. They just hold views or opinions which we regard as unacceptable. That is an enormous difference, isn't it?
Well, it's not just about somebody holding views. It is about people who are showing those views, who are using those views, inciting others. And I think it is important. We have strong laws at the moment in relation to terrorist acts, but it is important, if we are going to defeat the ideology that lies behind the terrorism that we see, if we're going to deal with extremists of all sorts in our society and uphold our British values, that we are able to take extra powers, I believe, to say that we do not think that people should be able to just preach hate on our streets.
We know from previous experience under Mrs. Thatcher we had the ban on the IRA appearing on the media, and that was deemed by and large to have backfired. It failed. Are you not in danger of making the same mistake by allowing the police to bar these extremists from appearing on the media?
No, I think everybody recognises that it is important that we do not allow people to preach extremism that incites others to go on to acts of violence, for example. It is important. Over time, the government has put strong laws in place in relation to terrorist acts. I think we now need to act in relation to extremism and those who are preaching hatred on our streets.
In the details of your proposals, you also suggest that people who argue for the abolition of democracy, who are anti-democratic, could face these powers too. But isn't the danger there? You could therefore end up in the situation where communists, anarchists, monarchists, people who are in no sense a threat to society could face the same sort of curves which are designed, presumably, for those much closer to terrorism.
What we are looking at is a situation where we believe we need to take powers necessary to be able to deal with those people who are preaching hatred on our streets. And that is an extremism which can lead others into violent acts. Of course, not all extremists are violent, and not all violence comes out of that extremism. But there is a link, there is a thread between this, and I believe that we need to be able to deal with that if we are going to be able to do the job we want to do, which is keeping people safe and secure.
One other element in your speech, you cited the situation here in Birmingham, where there have been schools, where there have been the Trojan horse case most notably. You are suggesting tighter vetting of governors. How is that going to be done?
Well, that is something that the Department of Education is looking at and is going to bring proposals out for. I think everybody will recognise that what we saw happening here in Birmingham schools was a small number of people being able, through the power they were able to gain in a number of schools, to start moving those schools in a direction that the general population did not want, in terms of the sort of hardline attitude that was being taken in those schools. We do need to deal with that. What we all want is good schools where young people, girls and boys, can get the best education possible that secures their future.